Hey there folks, this is Josh, Stoney Ridge Farmer. Welcome back to another beautiful day here on the Stoney Ridge Farm. Today is going to be a fun little tool kind of review. We've got Skiddy Bop, our little John Deere 250 skid steer, and we've got my neighbor's 236B Caterpillar, and we're going to be putting tracks on both these machines today. So we're going to do basically tracks versus tires. We're going to show you the installation process of the Grouser track, which is a little bit heavier track. We'll go into more detail in a minute. And the Tracks Plus track, which is a little bit lighter weight track. It's going to be a good time. That's a hardened steel, where this is a heavy duty steel. These tracks probably weigh twice as much as the Tracks Plus tracks. We're going to have some fun doing the install. Got the install tool, and I got cousin Vic, my neighbor here. That's his machine up there. So he's got the lighter weight tracks. We're going to install those, and we're going to show you the install of the Grouser versus the install of the Tracks Plus track and how they run on these tires on these skid loaders. All right?
I ain't afraid of work. I ain't afraid of play. I ain't afraid to get the job done and do it my own damn way. I ain't afraid of life, times like this. If you mess with my freedom, I'll tell you just what you can kiss. That's right.
Alright guys, welcome to the channel. If this is your first time to the Stoney Ridge Farm, this is the Stoney Ridge. This is a 150 acre first generation farm project, as well as fun stuff like fun tools. We got a bunch of tools. We got something wrapped up in here. You'll see that soon on the channel too. So this is the Grouser track, and I've already installed these tracks on Skiddy Bop, our little John Deere 250 skid steer, and it's a little bit lower horsepower and lighter weight machine than this 236B. Is that a 236B? Yeah, 236B. Now this is a cab model, cab machine, a little bit lighter weight track, a hardened track. There's a specialty hardening process that Tracks Plus uses on their tracks. So we're going to basically compare the two and kind of give you a little bit of food for thought. If you're considering buying tracks to go over the tires on your skid steer, this is the video for you. So the way that both of these sets of tracks come to you are on a pallet. Typically this would be something that you would buy at an OEM place. This is something I think you can buy factory direct from Tracks Plus. You get this on a pallet. It's in 4 pieces. It's very lightweight. I think it weighs somewhere in the neighborhood of 750 pounds for the entire pair. This pair weighs about, oh, don't quote me, I'll scroll it down there. I'll tell you the exact weight. I'll scroll it down through there. So first thing we got to do is put together the Tracks Plus, because it comes in 1, 2, 3, 4 sections, and then we'll roll them up on the tires. Each one comes with its own ratcheting installation tool. The Tracks Plus one is a little bit different than the Grouser one. This is so much easier with 2 people than it is with 1 person. Believe me, I had to wrestle those tracks up on that machine, but you can still do it as just a single person, or if you're a guy out there working on your farm, your wife can help you do it and make it a whole lot easier on you. So let's get busy. In order to install this, he's got a cab machine. He can't get out with the bucket halfway up. I can on that little machine over there. So we're raising the bucket all the way up into the lock position, and then we'll lift these tracks over. Again, the Tracks Plus tracks are a lot lighter, and this could be an easy one-man job. That was a really hard one-man job. There are pluses and minuses to each type of track, so we'll go over those pluses and minuses once we get them on the machines. But I think we're ready to rock and roll. We're gonna throw this up on the tires. Here's one for you. The Caterpillar machine, the man in the inside can't lock this down. I gotta lock it down. That's kind of interesting. So I'll pull this pin. This will lock down on the cylinder, blocking the cylinder and keeping it from coming down. So it's sitting right there on the cylinder. For safety's sake, we'll drop our pin back in place, ready to rock and roll. All right, cousin Vic, come on down. We're gonna install these track sections together real quick. They come kind of pre-bolted, tightened together a little bit. Don't really need an extension. We got a 19 millimeter. What's that in inches, cousin Vic? 3/4. 3/4. So it's 3/4 inch. Made in America, American steel. There we go. Now that's a fine thread, just so you guys know. Pretty short, it's a little stubby. Let's get you a little close up. That's what it's held together with, okay? So this is a bushing as well as a bolt. That's the way it should be. Should be spinning freely. Alrighty. Good deal. Now, we'll repeat this process on the other track, and then we'll roll the machine up on top of it and we'll pull these tracks. So this track right here, you'll see in a minute. See how I can pick this up with just one hand? So the grouser track is you can hear the difference. The grouser track is a much heavier track, and these have already been on my machine, so they've been used a little bit. That's why we've got rust here on the sides, and these things are gonna rust. That's just it. They're going to rust, but they're not gonna rust all the way through. They're really stout, very heavily built. Once we get them on here, we'll kind of compare the cleats on the grouser track versus the Trax Plus track. There's a different cleat design on each one. So next step, Cousin Vic's gonna come over here. He's gonna grab this side of the track and we're gonna lay it up on here. You grab one side, I'll grab the other if you want. That way both of our backs don't get hurt. I've been down in my back already. We're gonna pull her a little tight. Okay, good. Let it kind of hang. We just learned something, both of us. Take your bolts out before you get ready to lay them up on there. And we've got some adjustments we're gonna have to make because your tires need to be pumped up fairly tight, about to the maximum amount of pressure. His tires are fairly worn out. Some are worn more than others. So the tires on Skiddy Bop, my little skid steer, are brand new. The better the tire, the better the traction inside the track. If you want the track looser, you put it in the outer hole. If you want the track tighter, you put it in the inner hole right here, okay? That's how it works. We're gonna adjust 3 of these track sections inward to make this just a little bit snugger on the tire. So it's a whole lot easier to do on the ground than it is to do on the machine. And now we know for both sides, we're gonna go ahead and do the exact same thing on both sides. We're gonna start here. We're gonna basically unbolt these 2 bolts and put them in the tighter hole. And then we're gonna go back and we're gonna do it here and here. Yeah, that worked out good. Okay, slip these guys out, slide them in. Ever so slightly. Slip our bolts back in. It's just that easy to move the link up. And again, we're gonna do this on 3 sections. 1, 2, 3. So we actually drew it in on 4 links. I think that's gonna make a little bit of a difference. If we have to bring it in any more, we'll roll it off the back and we'll take it in just a little bit more there. Guys, post a comment down there. Tell me if you know a lot about tracks. Tell me how much sag we should have. I'll run the specs across the screen down here so that you guys have the exact specs of how much sag we should have. Me and Cousin Vic here, throw this guy over. You've gotta have space, okay? If you look on both the Grouser website and the Trax Plus website, you need to have space between your machine and the track, okay? I think it's, what did it say, 2 inches or so? Right around 2 inches of space. I'll scroll the specs across here because I can't remember all this stuff off the top of my head. Let's see how we match up. I think we're gonna be much better now. Oh yeah, much better. So when we lift these 2 up together, and you might be able to see it, let's put it on the other camera here. You'll see they barely match up right there, okay? That's cool because we're gonna pull these guys tight, and there's a little bit of slack right down here in the bottom. Now the specialty tool that comes with the Trax Plus track is this critter right here. It goes into the track through this ratchet setup, and it will pull the track together. We're gonna install that now. So the way this works is this drops in between a track. So you wanna go back 2 tracks. So back to the second track back here. And if we screw this up, we'll redo it and we'll show you guys. You can learn from our screw up. So we're gonna go back, actually take this strap out. We're gonna go back to the second track, lift up on it. That fits in, just locks into place right there. Get you down a little lower. You can see how that locks into place, okay? Then we'll run our strap right here through the ratchet, and right through right here, okay? So that's gonna run through the ratchet and through this and back over the second track in the rear back here, okay? So we don't wanna put it on the first one, we wanna put it on the one behind it. We're gonna lift up a little bit. And these are really light, man. This is so, so much lighter. When we go to put the grouser on there, you're gonna be impressed. Cousin Vic, if you'll pull that through there. There we go. Now, we're gonna snug this up, hopefully. Okay, so boo-boo number one. This needs to go over that and under the second one. Okay. There we go. Boo-boo number one made. That's all right. Learn as we go here. I've never done this before, and I didn't watch a YouTube video on it, so this is a good learning experience for everybody involved here. In through there, just like that. Like I said, it's like a Rubik's Cube, man, to figure this out. Well, once you got it, you got it. Slip that into the ratchet, just like so. Everybody watching me do this, you can get a good chuckle. Tell me what I'm doing wrong. I love it when people tell me what I'm doing wrong. It's my favorite part of making YouTube videos. Hey, you dummy, you should have wrench. Okay, so we'll get on here and we'll ratchet them up. When you're doing something new and you're performing it on camera, it's always a fun challenge. It's all right, I'm down for the challenge, baby. Tell me I'm using the adjustable wrench backwards. I want to hear that one too. That's my favorite. There we go. Won't take much pulling here. I can already feel it giving in. Now, got her snugged up here. We're gonna see about raising our tracks together and mating them up, just like so. Slide that in place, just like so. I think we probably want to ratchet it just a little bit more so that we can get into that hole right there. What do you think? Yes. If you take me back to Texas, you take me back to Tracks Plus. So again, our bolts need to go in from the inside, and that's why we're doing this right over the wheels. All right, just loosely install our bolt on that side. This is where having two people really helps. Bam, it's in there. Look at the sag. Look at how much sag we got. I'm gonna say we got a good couple inches of sag there. Trial and error, man. Every time you do this for the first time, it's trial and error. So we've still got a little bit too much sag. We're actually gonna roll the track off the back side, and we're gonna take up 3 more bolt holes to tighten this up just a little bit more. As big of a struggle as it is to get these on, you only have to set it up one time for your machine. The grouser track is already set up for Skitty Bop over there. So I'm gonna roll it back off and do the same process again until we get the sag just right. Let's try it again. I think this is the last time. We took it up 3 on this one and 3 on the back, and then we did both sides exactly the same, so this should match up just right now. Second track went on just like that, man. Awesome. Now we're gonna hook up the grouser tracks real quick on the Skitty Bop, a little John Deere 250, and then we're gonna get some rolling footage of these guys. We'll show you how the grouser track goes on. It's really, really simple. So with his machine, we had to raise a bucket up and lock it into the lock position. We just went on and took the bucket off of my machine just to make it a little bit easier. And you're getting ready to see us wrestle with some heavy tracks. These things are heavy. They're probably at least twice as heavy as those Tracks Plus tracks. But this one's already set up, so it should be easy. We went on and rolled the grouser track up here. I've got the ratchet right here to hook them together, but just testing out, I can tell already we've got to extend these just a little bit. So we're going to roll this rear one off, and we're going to back it off 3 rungs. In other words, we're going to back off 3 bolt holes, the exact opposite of what we just did with the Tracks Plus tracks. We'll show you how it's done. Pretty simple, except for it's super heavy. Ugh. Whew. Not a one-man job. Here we go. is. You guys be the judge. You tell me what you think. Heavy is good. Heavy is reliable, but boy, heavy is hard to get on and off, man. It's quite the chore. Very simple operation here. We're actually going to do it on both sides while they're sitting out here on the back of the machine. Now there is a different setup. There are links in this. This is like a big chain link, and inside that link is a bushing. See those big holes? This bushing rides inside that link. We've determined that both of us are going to need back surgery after today. This track is almost as hard to put on and off. I mean, it's a great track, but it's almost as hard to put on and off as the Caterpillar 963 or 953 that we did the other day. I'll post a link to that at the end of this video so you guys can see. That was a chore putting on a track on a big old track loader. It was fun though. Wrestle time. Woo! Be heavy. When it's two people working with the grouser track, you about got to have one guy back here lifting one little piece at a time. So if you'll lift this, pull here, there we go. So we'll put our ratchet strap. Now the grouser comes with a different style ratchet strap. This just goes up basically in the same configuration that the other strap went, but it doesn't have that hook that grabs on. Don't need the hook really, so I'll show you what we do. Once again, got to lift and pull the slack out bit by bit on the tire, and then ratchet him on up tight. Like I said, this is a whole lot like the Caterpillar loader. So with the grouser track, it's a lot easier to connect down here at this point, so we're going to have to raise the lift all the way up. So we'll go all the way up there. There you go. Okay, now we'll pull forward just ever so slightly to where we can get to where we need to get to. Come on forward. Come on, come on. All right, hold it right there. Okay. That's it. You guys might have been able to see the moderate amount of struggle that went on right there. It's just tough to get these heavy tracks lined up absolutely perfect. We've got them lined up absolutely perfect now, but it is quite the job. And I find that when you're installing the grouser track, it's easy to get them set, and you want to start with the inside bolt and slide it through, then get the outside bolt in, then pull up, and then access your bolts to tighten things down, because you simply can't get back in there. It's just such a tight space to get back in there. We've got plenty of clearance, but we don't have plenty of clearance to draw it tight. So I guess long story short, this is a heavier track. This makes this lighter weight machine a stronger machine. However, taking these tracks on and off of the grouser track is quite a chore. And you can see we've got quite a bit more sag in these than we had in the other. So we actually probably could do with taking out a little bit less on the other side. So let's get busy. Let's put the tracks on the other side. These are ready to rock and roll. I'm going to show these videos to my chiropractor too. He'll love them. Okay. Oh, goodness gracious. What's your thoughts? Now, Vic, you work at the rock quarry, right? So you work around heavy equipment all the time. What are your thoughts? And I'll tell you guys, I got a smoking deal on both sets of tracks here, and Vic is buying my tracks from me. So what are your thoughts on it?
I think both are good tracks, but I think I like the Tracks Plus better.
Yeah.
Easier to handle.
Yep. Well, there's supposedly some sort of hardened. I'll put down in the video description there, and you guys can get a link to the Trax Plus. The Trax Plus are supposedly a special hardening process that's supposed to last just as long as the Grouser track. So I don't know, man, what a job. Gonna get you guys some footage of these things moving around. We know that these machines will do 1,000 times better in the mud with tracks on versus tires. So it just turns them into totally different machines. It's great for the mud, it's great for the nasty times. This has been a job, man. It took us about an hour and 40 minutes to put the Trax Plus on, and it took us just about the same amount of time to put these on, since we had to make all sorts of adjustments because we put new tires on. So I know Cousin Vic is going to be calling Mr. Stoney Ridge when it comes time to take those off and put new tires on. So guys, thanks a lot for joining me here today on the Stoney Ridge Farm. Gonna get some footage of these two machines playing around in the gravel with these tracks on. I thank you so much. Pound the like button, jump in, subscribe to the channel. We'd love to have you back. This is real world, real farming, and this is my place. This is what we're doing here on the farm. So got our chickens over here. We'll be processing chickens in about 2 days. It's gonna be awesome. Thanks guys. See you next time on the Stoney Ridge. You ready? Woo! That was weak. Bring it, bring it. Bring in the woo! Woo! There it is. See you guys later.
Well, come on down to the Stoney Ridge. Bring your wife and bring your kids. We're living life pure and sweet. That's the way it's supposed to be, Stoney Ridge. Woo!
Come on in here. I'm forcing Cousin Vic into the thumbnail.
And there you have it.
Big smile.
Oh, you ain't through.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Man. I see what you're saying. Hope you don't edit that out.
Cut. The wonderful power of editing is what we have to explain to Cousin Vic here. We're gonna have to edit out some of this because we learn every time we do something. That's it. If you're not learning, you ain't doing nothing. There we go. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, oh, mighty hung up right there.